everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another Friday Focus video. I am continuing my birthday card mini series by using this stamp set from Avery called Bunting. It has some really fun ways to kind of create a party scene. So I'm starting out with some black cardstock here, and I just cut to 4 1/4 wide by 3 inches tall. And I just used my EK Success Pattern tool across the whole surface to prep it for some embossing. I'm using the really thin lined stamp to create a spot where I'm going to have these things hanging, and I'm stamping that in Versamark ink. Now I'm using the really small globe light bulb. I've always really loved the look of these kind of globe lights. In fact, I want to get some for my backyard this summer because I think they'd be so fun for some lighting on my patio. So I really love this look, and I think that's really great for parties. So I thought I would stamp the light bulbs, and then I'm using some Hero Arts white embossing powder. And just shake off the excess there. You can sort of see that design starting to take shape. And I'll use my heat tool to melt that white embossing powder until it's nice and smooth. In order to color in those light bulbs, I'm using some Perfect Gold, Perfect Pearls powder. And I'm just going to take a small little watercolor brush and just push some of that powder out onto an acrylic block. And then I'll be taking some water and mixing it in with that pigment powder, and it's going to create a really pretty gold shimmer paint. And I'm going to be putting that right over the top of my embossed light bulbs. The embossing powder will resist any of the moisture on top, and it will push it into the areas around the stamping. So I don't even have to worry about painting over the top of that interior piece of the light bulbs. It goes right on really smooth. So I did a couple of layers to make sure that it was nice and solid on those. And then I cleaned up that acrylic block, and I'm going to do some more stamping. Because I'm going to be adding some more Perfect Pearls on top, I wanted to make sure that that was completely dry because I didn't want any colors mixing. And now I'm taking the small banner stamp that's in the stamp set, and I'm going to be putting that banner in between all of the light bulbs. Then I'm using 3 other colors of Perfect Pearls, and I'm going to be adding the colors on top. Perfect Pearls need something to stick to, so it's going to stick to the Versamark ink because it's very sticky, and then I'll be able to set it so that it won't smear or smudge by adding a little bit of moisture on top, and I'll do that at the very end after I have the design completed. So I'm using a blue and also a purple. And then I'm using a red that's called Interference Red. It's sort of like a duochrome. It's got quite a bit of different colors when you look at it up close. It's hard to see on camera, but it's really pretty. So I just took that over to my trash can and used my brush there to brush off any of the excess powder. And as you can see, only the areas where I had stamping have that color left behind. I stamped some dots from the stamp set, and now I'm adding some more of that Perfect Pearls, Perfect Gold color just over all of the dots, and I'll take this over to my trash can and once again brush that off, and then I'm just left with those dots. So the sentiment I'm using from the stamp set says celebrate, and then you can choose a bunch of different ways to finish that greeting. I chose to use your day, so it's sort of like a birthday, so celebrate your day. And I'm going to be using some white embossing powder for this. I considered using more of that gold, but I really wanted the greeting to stand out on this piece here. So I thought I best use white embossing powder. So then I stamped another line of the lights and the banners because it needed a little bit more up in that corner. And I'm also taking that gold paint and that I've created with the Perfect Pearls powder and just painting the edges of this black piece. This is sort of a similar look to what you've seen me do with embossing powder, but this is a little bit more of a direct approach. And I'm just painting all of those edges, and I made it kind of really rough and kind of sketchy around the edges because it got a little messy, and I thought, you know what, I'll embrace that and make all of it a little bit messy. And then it cleans up off that acrylic block really easily. So here's where I'm setting it. I just misted a little bit of water from my mister bottle. And the way you set the Perfect Pearls is just adding a little bit of moisture. So now that I have a little bit of water on there, it's not going to smear or smudge, and those Perfect Pearls are going to stay in place. So I'm just hitting with my heat tool just to dry that cardstock. Now I'm prepping my card base. I'm using some Basil Marshmallow cardstock, and I'm going to be creating a landscape side fold card. So I've scored it at 5.5. And then I'll be adhering my stamped piece using some foam tape. And I'm just going to adhere that right to the center of the card. And after I have this adhered onto the card, that finishes the card for today. I really love this look. It's quite unique, having all those perfect pearls. And I love the stamp set, how you can create a scene. I just think it looks really, really neat. Here's an up-close look at it. You can see it looks a little bit sketchy on those edges. I think it's a nice look compared to all of the clean stamping. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and you'll come back for more. And thanks so much for watching. On screen right now are the 3 previous birthday cards in this birthday card mini series. So if you need some birthday card inspiration, you can click on any of those and it will go directly to those videos. You can visit my blog at kwarnerdesign.com, and if you click on that link in the top corner right now, it will take you directly to today's blog post where you can see all of the supplies that I used for today's card with links to online stores where you can buy those supplies. Once again, thanks so much for watching my video today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And thanks for watching.